like long overdue. I started the video and then I stopped because I had to go get my food, and I had to check to make sure I was at the right location, which I was. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. So Aria's 1 year anniversary of doing pageants is next, like Tuesday. No, next Monday. Oh my God. It's next Monday. And in honor of that, and her, tomorrow she's doing the pageant that, not the same pageant exactly, but the same theme pageant tomorrow. And so for it to all be literally a week away from her 1 year, I just think that's so amazing. And so I was like, yeah, it's definitely time for me to talk about how we got started, where we are now, you know, and just some tips and different things like that. So before I put my daughter in a pageant, I have been in pageants before. I didn't grow up as a pageant girl, but I have been in a couple pageants, like once I got older and stuff like that, like in college and different things like that. High school and college. But I did not grow up being a pageant girl, like doing it all my life, you know, having a coach, doing all of that. No, that wasn't my story. And then in 2020, I think 2020, I started directing and hosting pageants in my hometown. Me and the organization that I created, we started doing that, and I just fell in love with it. You know, I just fell in love with it. And I, you know, I used to be like, man, when I have a baby girl one day, I would love for her to do this too. You know, and hopefully she likes it. Okay. Fast forward 4 years later, Ari gets here. She's 3 months old. We're walking around in the mall. We're on the top floor, and we had just discovered the store Akira. Well, no, that's not true. Akira had just Akira was not, that's the name of the store, had just moved to this mall. And so prior to that, we didn't have a reason to go that far down in the mall. And so because Akira was there, we went, and as we were either going to Akira or leaving Akira, I saw a poster that was like, you know, hey, we're hosting a pageant in 3 weeks or whatever. We would love to have your little one. It's from ages 0 to like 18 or something like that. And when I saw the picture, I was like, babe, look. And he was like, oh, that looks cool or whatever, da da da. And so I took a picture of it, and we just went on about our business or whatever. I didn't really think nothing else about it, because I be having so much going on in my brain. And with the newborn, like, you know, and so I didn't really think nothing else about it. And then I feel like I had to be watching, I wasn't watching Talis and Tiara, but I was about to start watching something on my Fire Stick, on my Roku, and an ad came up. Really not an ad, but it was like, if you're interested, you can watch this show. And it wasn't the Tyler and Tiara show, it was the other pageant show that they didn't have as many seasons as Tyler and Tiara. It was Bigger Girls. I can't think of what the show is called. Girl, you don't see that car coming? Anyway, I can't think of what the show is called. It's called, I can't think, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's a pageant show. It's her getting the girls ready for pageants and stuff like that. And so, long story short, once I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, the pageant. And so I was like, dang, I hope it's not too late to sign her up or whatever. So as soon as I saw that, I went on my phone, went to the website, and signed my baby up. It was very easy. Sign up, you pay your fee, you pay your deposit for this pageant, and then you can pay the remainder at the door, or you can pay it all at once. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if you pay all at once, you have a discount. It depends on the pageant system that you're in, or you're looking into. And then it told me the categories, you know, cool or whatever. So I was like, this, you know, I signed her up or whatever. After I did that, I went on Amazon. I had no idea where to get a pageant dress from for a baby that small. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to find examples. I was going on TikTok. I couldn't find nothing for babies that were that, like 3 months old, like a newborn. I couldn't find anything. So I'm like, okay. So I just went on Amazon. And thank God, you know, I found pageant dresses. Now, at the time, I didn't know that those are, okay, when I say I don't know, I mean, I wasn't cognizant of the fact that those are mass-produced dresses, meaning there are hundreds, millions of those dresses, and if you can help it, you might not really like if you just can't help it, go ahead and get a dress. But if you can't help it, try to look for a different dress, because there is a possibility that if you buy one of those, that other people will have that type of dress on, you know, in X, Y, and Z. Or it may not be as polished as the other type of dresses, which we're gonna get to. And so, but then again, sometimes when you have a baby that little, like, it don't matter. Again, it depends on the pageant system. So I bought my baby a dress. She still has the dress. I bought my baby a dress. I bought her a dress and then some socks and shoes. But the shoes ended up not fitting because Aria has always had like really, really small feet. And so at the time, you know, I got the smallest size. Come to find out, that size was still too small for her. Too big for her, excuse me. The stuff came in right before the pageant. I think the stuff probably came in like 2 or 3 days before the pageant. And when I got the dress out, I noticed that the bow that came with the dress was just a normal bow, you know. And the pictures that I would see of like the other girls, you know, they had on like really big glitzy bows and stuff like that. Like even if it was a natural pageant, they would still have like a really nice bow, you know, like icing on the cake. Because a lot of the kids, they ain't got no hair, you know what I'm saying? And so the bow just makes everything come together. And so her bow was just plain. And so I end up, I don't know if I ordered some rhinestones or had some, because y'all know I be doing my dancers' uniforms. And so I started to like hot glue rhinestones on the bow. I did that the day of the pageant, because I remember. And so it was, you know, it was the day of the pageant. I remember it saying she needed a casual outfit and she needed her dress. That's all I saw. We get to the pageant and y'all, it is a Halloween theme. It never said Halloween on the website. It never said Halloween on the flyer, nothing like that. So I was like bummed as just being, first of all, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my kids. You know, I want my kids to have the best, all of that. But I was just kind of like, damn, like, somebody could have said, so ain't nobody called and said nothing. But she had her dress and she had her little casual outfit. As far as the casual outfit, I also did not know what a casual pageant outfit was. And so I literally took something that was out of her closet that probably came from like Carter's or somewhere. And I think that outfit my grandma bought her, or my mom, one of them bought her, but she had never wore it before, and it was lavender, and you know, that's her name. And so I just thought, okay, that'll be cute. It was like a little jumpsuit, like it was cute or whatever. We get to the pageant and she ended up winning her division, like flying colors, like won everything in her division, no lie. But what helped her was, she did have a gorgeous dress, but what helped her was that Ari has always been very attentive. Like she always has had really good eye contact, and she's always been a happy baby. So, well, she was a happy baby then. She's always been a happy baby, and she would just like laugh and smile at 4 months, just laugh and smile and giggle and everything. So it wasn't hard for, you know, daddy to go off stage and say her name, and she'll be able to track where he is and smile. It wasn't hard, you know, thank God, because a lot of babies at that age don't do that. And so that helped us a lot. We gonna get there, but that helped us a lot. Anyway, so she ended up winning, but my baby didn't have a costume, and so I was kind of bummed about that. Also, I had no idea the first category. I had no idea like what's come first. Like y'all, it was literally like we were in the trenches just learning as we were going. And so thank God it was like an angel in the crowd. She was a pageant mom. She started all her daughters. She had 3 daughters, and started all of them off at, you know, that young or whatever. And so she watched us the first category, and let's just say the first category, casual. It was casual. So she watched us. She could tell that we were newbies, because you can tell who's new and not, because like there's positions you have to hold them in, markers, stuff like that. And I was hitting all of my markers, because again, I've done pageants before. But as far as like the proper ways to hold a baby that's small, and different things to do for a baby that's small that can't hold themselves up, that you either know it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? And so once we got off that stage for the first category, she came to me and she was like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'll just say, she was like, hey, my name is Jessica. And she was like, are you guys new or whatever? You know, we talked. And this lady was like God sent. She literally told us all the ins and outs of a pageant. I mean, I think we probably talked about 15-20 minutes, because, you know, other people had to go or whatever. People got to change, the kids got to change clothes and stuff. But she literally gave us the ins and outs of pageants. And, you know, it's so crazy, because I was panicking before then, because I had went on TikTok, I had went on YouTube, like, and no one was sitting down and being like, this is how you win, or just this is how you compete. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like a quiet as it's kept type of thing. And so we really thanked her for that. She told us about the different pageant systems that come to the East Coast, the good ones, the not so good ones, the ones for starters, the ones that, you know, you do that to build up your name and stuff like that. The different pageant groups that they, you know, that we don't have any in Maryland, but close to Maryland, just different things like that. And so she really helped us. And so once category 2 came along, which was formal, we were able to like properly hold her. Like it was just different things. And that was that. Once Ari won that pageant, there were some judges that were there, and they were like Miss Maryland, like it was just a couple like high ranking people, and they were like, keep her in this. Like as long as she wants to do this, keep her in it. I don't know what it is, but she has it. And we just kind of ran with it. And you know, first of all, it was that, like, that was confirmation number 1. Confirmation number 2 was just that mother instinct. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe in like just forcing the kids, and they babies, so like they don't really have a choice. But you can tell early on the kids that just don't want to do it, and the kids that they turn on, and they like, who is, like, you have like Mary Kate and Ashley, like kid stars back in the day. You ever think like, dang, how they learn their lines, how they do this, how they do that? And yes, don't get me wrong, some were probably forced to do that, but some were just naturally smart, just like could read at a very early age. And like Ari is one of those babies, like she's so freaking intelligent at 16 months. Like she's always been intelligent, but the things that she can do, like, it's scary, because, you know, there's been research that has come out that's like, if your kids are like exceeding their milestones too early, that can also be an issue. You know what I'm saying? And so you just toddle between like is this girl too smart, or like too smart, where it's like really a problem and it's going to affect her later, you know. But it was just like them saying that mother instinct. And then my husband is the one that really put the icing on the cake, because the daddies usually be like, I don't want my, you know what I'm saying? But he was so like, he's like, babe, we got to keep going. He was like, because I'm on stage with her, and so he's off the stage. He's also watching everybody else. So while I'm getting her dressed and stuff like that, he's also watching the other kids, and he's like, no, babe, like, she got it for real. Once that was said and done, we took off. We were doing a pageant like once a month. Now, the first pageant that we were in, I feel like we spent like $275. So it wasn't like a national pageant. It wasn't on that level, you know. But I'm gonna say like $275, $300. I'm gonna say $300. There go FedEx. I'm trying to figure out, do I have, because all of my stuff, all of her pageant stuff that we just ordered don't come until Tuesday. So yeah, they turning around. But anyway, and so I'm gonna say the pageant was like $300. And then, but we had no idea about, oh my God, we did not bring pictures with us. Once we got there, they were like, hey, are you turning in her photos? And I'm like, baby, she just came out the moon. Like, she don't have no pictures. And so I just used some pictures that I had, like, for her, like, 3-month pictures. And my husband went to the nearest Walgreens. This is all during the day of the pageant, like the morning of the pageant. Went to the nearest Walgreens and printed them off. I think the pictures can't be like bigger than an 8x10. But we learned so much, y'all. I said all this to say, we literally learned like so much doing it. Like, we didn't have anybody coaching us. We didn't have a coach. We didn't have nobody telling us what to do. Jessica was a blessing, and it's like she was literally an angel sent. But we were already in it. We had already did for the first category, and all of that. Now, once she did tell us everything, we did take the knowledge and just put everything together. Like I said, after that, we were doing pageants like literally once a month. That's how she had so many crowns, how she had so many titles and stuff like that, because during the holiday season, which is when we started last October. So like during the holiday season, there will be a lot of pageants. There's for sure going to be a Halloween pageant. There's for sure going to be a Christmas pageant. There's for sure going to be maybe like a national pageant at the beginning of the year, between like January and February. And then you may have like some state fair, like you know, we're gonna get stuff like that, but you may have like some smaller pageants in March and April and May. And then for sure your June and July's and August, you're gonna be back to your national pageants and stuff like that. And then in between time, if you want to take on smaller pageants that that your state or somebody else is having, you definitely can do that. But that is the route we took. And I didn't have any pageant friends, so Jessica had actually told me about it's called East Coast. Like that's another pageant system. So she told me about East Coast, and she was like, you really want to prepare for East Coast. She was like, East Coast is coming up in 2 months. You really want to do that, X, Y, and Z. And so once she told me about that, I went on Instagram and I did the research about that pageant system. And then my algorithm began to change, because I was always looking up pageant stuff. I went on Facebook and was like, pageants near me, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And so I had to do a lot of leg work in the beginning, because nobody is telling you this stuff, okay? Like, there is truly like a secret society, like dead ass, like it's truly a secret society. And so I had to go and do a lot of leg work. And every time we would do pageants, I would like go and follow the director, or not even always the director, but I would go and follow the pageant moms that I would meet. Now, everybody ain't friendly. Everybody's not friendly. I'm naturally an introvert. Like, I know how to turn on the other side of me being an extrovert, even though people think I'm truly an introvert. I know how to turn it on. That's the only thing about it. But you're gonna have some moms that's like, oh my God, your baby did so well, da da da. And obviously they want their baby to win, but they still gonna support yours. And you gonna have some moms that won't say nothing to you unless you losing, unless your child is acting a complete like a maniac. You know what I'm saying? And so at first, like, first pageant we made a friend, Jessica. Second pageant we made a friend. The third pageant, I feel like our third pageant, I think I made a vlog. Oh, I started to make a vlog about our third pageant. I don't think I ever uploaded. It was one of our worst pageants. We've only had 2 bad pageants, but it was one of our worst pageants. We traveled like an hour and a half to this part of Virginia. It was Halloween themed. And it was like a backyard pageant. Not about the cost. I'm not talking about cost or nothing. I mean, it was like everybody knew everybody. So everybody also knew the outsider. And so we just felt like an outcast. We felt like an outcast. And I'm not gonna hold you. It's not too many babies that look like us. I'm not gonna hold you. And so in her division, she did well, but we were definitely played. Like, when I say definitely played, like, I think a 2-month-old baby that doesn't look like us, that slept the entire time, outdid my baby. And it was just like, it was like blatant. It was like blatant. And it was only like one other mom that looked like me, but she was so far up the butts of the other moms that I couldn't even, like, I was about to go to her and try to talk to her, because I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to learn as I go. Thank God I'm a quick learner, and I'm an educator, so I just naturally know how to learn. But it was bad, and so that turned me off. That definitely turned me off. But it didn't turn me off to where I was just like, F it, because every pageant system is different. And then you start learning what pageant systems you just refuse to go with, and then what pageant systems are fair and they're gonna be truthful. Because you have some pageant systems that are like that they like everybody go to the same church, everybody, or you know what I'm saying, and so they give all the awards to the same girl. They do this, they do that. Y'all, let me go in and start eating. I'm gonna bring y'all with me. All right, y'all, I am back. I had to get in the house and eat my food, because I was outside like, bro, I am so hungry. Anyway, so her third pageant, like I said, it was like her, it was her third pageant. Yeah, it was her third pageant. And it was not a good pageant. She did okay, but like I said, it was a lot of, we were just the outsiders. We were the outsiders, and you could feel it, and it was just annoying. And I did not agree with the scores and judges. And the thing about it is, like, I think that's the hardest part for some moms about their daughters being in pageants, is that, like, nobody really wants their child to be judged. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for something they can't control. Like, they can't control how they look. And so, you know, no one wants their child to be judged. And so, yeah, I went to Pizza Hut, and I got the chicken Alfredo pasta, and I got the breadsticks. Yeah. Anyway, so I think that's the hardest part. It's like, no one wants their child to be subjected to judgment, especially they're young, and especially on things that they can't control. They can't control how they look. They can't control if they have perfect teeth, or if they have, you know, a perfect tan, or it's just like, some things are just, you know, their complexion, how long or short their hair is, how curly their hair can get, and stuff like that. So I definitely understand. As far as like me, I've never struggled with and like I said, it'll be a year next Monday. But out of all the pageants that Ari has competed in, I have never felt like upset at, like, oh, they were judging my baby. Or, for me, every experience has been a learning experience. If you hear somebody tapping, it's Noah. Noah, sit down. Every experience has been a learning experience. And I've never felt cheated except for twice. I've never felt cheated. Out of all the pages we've done, like, I've never felt cheated. I felt like we've gone to very honest systems. We've been in honest systems except for two. And I won't even say that, like the first one I just gave y'all when she was 3 months old, and we were in like this redneck area. And it was obviously favoritism, like blatant. And then we went to a pageant 2 months after that. This was by far the most expensive pageant we had attended. We had to fly to get to the pageant, hotel. Well, we do hotels always. Well, yeah, but rent a car, like the whole nine for my baby, the entire nine. At this point, she's like 6 months. Like, let me see. At this point, she's 6 months. So we're ready. We're ready. I buy her a brand new dress. At this point, her hair is starting to get fuller and thicker. Cause y'all know babies like they be bald, you know? And so, you know, especially for chocolate babies, you know, and babies that look like us, black babies, when they hair start to come in and the curls start to pop, I love it. I love just their natural texture. I just love it. And you put it on there in that big bow, that huge bow with all the glitz on it, shines. It's like black girl magic. And so we were super excited for this pageant, y'all. It was also our first national pageant. Let me say that. It was also our first national pageant. So she did her first national pageant at 6 months. Prior to that, she started at 4 months. So she moved pretty quickly. Like when I say she moved pretty quickly, within 2 months she was in her first national pageant, which is like insane, right? And so we get down there. This pageant is in a completely different pageant system, completely different region of the United States. They're looking for something completely different. I had talked to my pageant moms at that time and was like trying to get advice. However, none of them had competed in this system before. They had already all heard about the system, but never competed in the system. And one of the pageant moms reached out to me a little bit later, like maybe like 2 weeks before we left, and said that she knew of somebody that went, and she was gonna get me in contact with them. She ended up, we ended up getting each other on Facebooks, and we were DMing about it. She was telling me kind of what to expect, and I really appreciate that. But nothing could have prepared us for what we walked into. Like, y'all, I don't think I've ever felt blindsided. No. Up until the end, like even with her first pageant, like that was one thing. We were brand new to it. But baby, and you get 5 breadsticks, y'all. It's a good thing. And you bring home, you season it how you want to season it in. Anyway, so we get there, we vlogged the entire thing. I did not upload it. I was so mad, y'all. My husband and I, we was so mad. Baby, we was hotter than fish grease. Okay. So the thing about national pageants, that as a newbie, especially someone that had just came in 2 months prior, something you probably won't know is that the categories are a little wonky. So my baby was 6 months at the time. I was expecting her to compete against 0 to 11 babies, point blank, period. That's what the paperwork said. That's what, like, you feel me? Like, that's what the paperwork said. That's how it had always been in all of her pageants prior to that pageant. And so I was not expecting anything different. Okay. I also was told by the girl that my friend connected me with that, down south, they're looking for more natural, not as glitzy, girl, it was the opposite. Well, I will say this. Anytime you can go big, go big. Okay. And as far as I feel like the only difference for real is like casual. Like, for pageants like that, yes, everybody does look a certain way when it comes to casual. Like, casual and OOC. Yes, 100%. But as far as, like, formal is concerned, as long as it is not a non-glitz pageant, you good. If it's a, you can do whatever you want to do type thing, go big or go home. We did not go big or go home. Like, we came natural. Everything we had was natural because that's what we were told they were looking for. That's what they were looking for the past year, you know, X, Y, and Z. Anyway, that wasn't even the kicker for me. Like, that wasn't even the issue for me. The issue for me was that I had a 6-month-old going up against babies that were damn near 2 years old. And it was possible because they had a fallback thing. And so let's say your baby's birthday is in January or December or something like that. And then you compete, and they're gonna and sometimes they'll say like, oh, well, you can fall back in the past in the previous category as long as your birthday wasn't before this date or whatever. And sometimes that works in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't. It worked in a lot of girls' favors. I'm gonna say, I think maybe my husband still has the videos, but I'm gonna say it probably worked in about, I think there were 12 girls in her category. I want to say like 12, 13 girls in her category. At least 6 of the girls were not really supposed to be in her category. They were much older, much more mature, could do routines. I mean, to an extent, you get me. They still babies, but could walk on their own, could follow commands. No, yes, stop, you know. And so it was a steal. I mean, we were beat to sleep. Just off of the fact that, just off of category. I mean, just off of the age. Just off of the age division. Literally division. Just off of the age differences. You know what I'm saying? And like the other 6 of us that were true 0 to 11, we could not compete with those girls. I mean, that's just what it is. An 11-month or 6-month-old and 11-month-old baby, let me say something. They may smile, they may not. They may do this, you know. And so all of us, yes, we relied on our babies being awake and our babies being attentive and stuff like that. But they're still babies. And like, when you compete with other kids that are in that same developmental stage, you kind of look for, you're looking for them being attentive, them smiling, but you also have to look at other stuff. You feel me? Because they're expected not to do certain things. However, when you get to the 2-year-old category, you can have a parent on stage, but guess what? If you got a 2-year-old that can come out there and do their stuff on their own, they gonna naturally be boop bye, okay? They up here, everybody else up here, you know, down there, because you're like, okay, they moving around, they doing their faces, da. It was, baby, child, I think we came in 4th place. The little girls that won, they were like giants compared to our kids. Giants. I was devastated. That pageant cost me $800, $900. Not including flights. Not including room. Not including my husband getting like rental cars, stuff like that. Not including, you know, us eating out and shit, doing stuff like that, you know. And so it was a bad loss. It was a bad loss. And then it's like you spend all that money and then you beat to sleep and you don't bring nothing home. It's just like, what? And they ask you, do you want the pictures? Girl, keep them, okay? Like, keep them. When I tell y'all, I was so livid, I was so angry. And we had invited so many of our family members, and a lot of people end up not being able to come. I was so happy because it was just like a you-know-what show. It was just bad, but it was a lesson learned. And I will, disclaimer, in fine print, like real fine print, at the bottom of the registration or the website, they will say that categories are subject, age divisions are subject to change due to numbers. So they will tell you this. So I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that it's not a disclaimer, that it's not something they just, but again, we were brand new to it, and baby, it was in fine print, okay? And so, yeah. And so, I mean, technically, they really can't help how many girls they get in a certain category or whatever. But I feel like with the 0 to 11, I don't give a damn if it's 6 is good enough. Six is good enough. I know this is a national pageant. I know, but sometimes y'all really be focused on money. Y'all really be focused on money. Y'all really be focused on, everything else. So, that's something to look out for. But that was our worst pageant. That pageant was so bad because we were cheated. Like, both pageants were bad. Both pageants, one was just on like a little backyard pageant level, and then one was on a national level. But we were cheated with both, and it was devastating because you come too far. Like, babe, we've come too far for us to come home with nothing, for it to be this level of disappointment. After that, pageants started to kind of slow down for us. We knew that our next national pageant would be in the summer, like in the spring, and summer. That's just how it worked out or whatever. We did do a couple more pageants, and then after the month before her birthday, we stopped because I made an executive decision to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna put my daughter up against competition where I know she's gonna lose. Like, why in the hell would I spend this much money, go buy these type of dresses, and my baby's gonna lose? And it's not saying I didn't believe in her ability to smile and really woo the crowd. Girl, that's part of it. What you got on what you have on makes a difference. Your facials, your eye contact, you being attentive, if that plays a part in it. And then also, depending on what type of pageant it is, if your child is able to speak, if your child is able to give to do interviews, that's the part of it. And then the last part is stage presence, okay, which kind of ties into all three categories, but it was the stage presence for me. She had not started walking yet. And granted, she could say, a couple words and things like that, but I did not feel that it was on the level of a 23-month-old or the level of a 16, 18-month-old. And so as a brand new 12-month, I did not want to experience what we had experienced in that national pageant. I don't care if it was a backyard pageant, a church pageant, a city hall pageant, a county fair pageant. I did not want to experience that because you spend too much money, you put too much time and energy and money into something to not get something out of it in return. And that's not saying that you should feel like you're going to win all the time, because especially with having a little baby, 9.5 times out of 10, your baby is not going to get Grand Supreme. They're not going to get Grand Supreme. They're not, because they're not there yet. So my husband and I, we were content with division. Like, we just starting out, you know what I'm saying? We got to crawl before we walk. But with her bumping up to a new category, I just felt like that would be an injustice for me to put her with those big girls. So we've taken a 7-month hiatus, and now we're back. Tomorrow will be her first pageant as a 1-year-old in the 1 and 2-year-old category. My baby can walk, she can talk. She has really good sense. Her outfits are up to par with the age division she's now in. And so we just feel that collectively we have what it takes to compete against 1 and 2-year-olds. And so I'm really looking forward to it because this is our first pageant back. I'm really happy that we're in the system that we're going to be in tomorrow. I would have never brought her back to a national. I would have never let her first pageant be a national pageant or something like that, because that's too much. Like, let her get back on stage. Let her get back acquainted with, walking with mommy. Actually, it's gonna be her first time walking with me. I'm used to holding her and stuff like that. So I definitely wanted it to be like a middle type of pageant, not something that's national, which is high, and not something that's low, which is like a fair pageant or a mall pageant. And there's nothing wrong with those. I definitely recommend getting your feet wet at those type of pageants, but don't expect all pageants to be like that. Don't expect that. Most pageants are the middle based pageants, like middle tier pageants or whatever. And so that's what type of pageant she's doing tomorrow. She has another pageant in 2 weeks that's middle tier. And then she has another one in November that's high tier. It's really, really high. The one she's doing in November, end of November or December, one of them. Now it's low key on the level of a national pageant. But I feel like these two experiences that she's about to get are really gonna help her, like 100%. And so yeah, y'all, I'm just looking forward to it. Like I said, I've learned so much throughout this 1 year. I had to take a crash course, but thank God I'm smart to pick up things really quickly. And yeah, I'm just happy. I'm excited about her getting back into it. I want to see how she's gonna adjust to it. She loves to be around other kids. The pageants in her age divisions, they usually happen in the morning because, you know, kids do get tired, they get restless and stuff like that. So we're just praying that all goes well. I'm gonna go to the store tonight, get some of her favorite snacks, and I'm gonna really try to just bribe, bargain, be nice, everything, because I really want her to come back with a bang. I really want her to come back with a bang. She did get Supreme. She got Supreme in the last pageant that she competed in. And like, I literally, Noah, stop. I literally spoke it into existence. And so tomorrow, my hope is that she would clean house for her division and that she'll be able to bump up. And so that's my hope. That's my hope, you know, and that's a big hope because, like I said, we haven't did a pageant. The last time we did a pageant was 7 months ago, and she was a baby, could not do none of the things that she's gonna do today. I mean, hopefully she does tomorrow, except for Smile and Wave. She's been doing that stuff since she was like, I don't know. But yeah, y'all. So I'm really excited. Thank y'all for sitting here and listening to me with my little. Video is so long overdue, but I just felt like it was perfect timing to do it now because again, her 1 year is next week. And so I think if tomorrow goes really well, I'm definitely gonna do a big post to come in, you know, just to celebrate this being her anniversary. And I can't wait to see where it takes us, guys. She got new headshots in, so we were able to use those for this new pageant and all of that. But definitely come back for part 2, because part 2 I can really tell y'all like what to do and what not to do because and what money to spend and what money not to spend, because we as many things that I got right, I got wrong, you know what I'm saying? And it's only been a year, but collectively all of those things were lessons. They helped me. And you know, I'm not gonna say I'm a pro pageant mom just yet, but I'm up there. I'm up there with just knowing what people want, knowing what's entertaining, knowing what's not, what's appropriate, what's not, and all of that. And you know, so definitely come back for part 2. But thank y'all so much for listening to me. If you are interested in, you know, your baby getting into pageants and stuff like that, reach out to me. Don't like I told y'all in the beginning, I was one of those girls that I was on TikTok, YouTube, and searching, and I could not find the answers I was looking for nothing. Like, I was like, damn, why is this a secret society of information? Like, why? But definitely reach out, you know, and like I said, part 2 is really going to be like a Q&A of things that people have asked me and things that I feel like questions that I had that I want to answer. So part 2 is definitely going to be, you know, on that. I just really wanted to give y'all a backstory of how we got started, where we are today, what is our future goals for pageants, and all of that. So that's all I got. Ain't got no more. The last thing I'll leave y'all on is that don't think that all pageants are the same. Don't think that, I've already told y'all like about the tiers, like the small pageants, the middle pageants, and the big pageants. But within those tiers, you have subgroups, and those subgroups are like glitz, semi-glitz, and natural pageants. And I think a lot of times, like moms and especially the dads, like they are against pageants because they feel like that their child has to wear makeup and fake hair and fake nails and flippers and stuff like that. And those are not how all pageants are ran. Regardless of what tier that type of pageant is on, all pageants are not ran like that because you have subgroups, you have subcategories and stuff like that. And so like tomorrow is a natural pageant. However, they have said that kids that are above the age of 5 could do light makeup or, you know, this, that, and the third. But tomorrow is a natural pageant. And so it just, and even if you go back and look at pictures from the last year, the years before, you're going to see natural girls. However, you're going to also be able to see some of these girls do other pageants and they full glitz. They're full glitz. And so don't think that, you know, you can't do a pageant because my husband or, you know, I don't want to see my child with makeup on or fake hair and that's too grown. Yes, I 100% agree. But just know that every pageant is not asking for that, nor are they looking for that. And a lot of pageants, you will be disqualified. Like tomorrow when we get there, they're going to do a face swipe and everything of her to just make sure that she's fully natural. And so just be mindful that everything is not what it seems. And I know we all watch Toddlers and Tiaras and we would see the big hair and that stuff is real. It's definitely real. And believe it or not, it's like one of my favorite type of pageants, believe it or not. And we'll talk about that in part 2. But don't just be completely against the idea because you think that is the expectation across the board. It's not. It's literally not. Like, it's literally not. So anyway, that's all I got to say. I feel like that's a good way to end. And again, if you're thinking about it, a lot of people have reached out to me over this last year because I try to always post Ari's highlights and different things like that. I don't really go into detail, but I really want to start because nobody is really doing that. Like I said, if you go on TikTok, you go on YouTube, like nobody is doing it. Like it's a lot of us in the community, but as far as people really giving other people the sauce or helping them along the way, nobody's really doing it. And I feel like, what does it hurt you for you to help somebody else and help their child, you know? So anyway, thank y'all so much for watching. Until next time, peace.
Blow a kiss.
You're so beautiful. Can you blow a kiss? Good job. Can you wave? What? Say hi. You're so pretty. You look so beautiful.